Greetings. We are going to be going over SA2 structure options. Not a terribly complicated one. You're going to have a lot of control over these. I just want you to know sort of what goes into each body paragraph, the intro, body paragraphs, things like that. So another PowerPoint. And again, you have access to the PowerPoint. This is my video walkthrough of it so that you can kind of marry the two together. And hopefully that will be of help to some of you that need my further explanation or whatever to contribute to your understanding. Okay. All right. Here we go. So first thing we're going to get to is the introduction. So you're going to give me an overview of the AI or undocumented immigration debate. This will be multiple sentences, probably 4, maybe even 5, including why it's timely or urgent, like what's going on now, like what makes this relevant now, and what are some of the key points in this argument debate. Okay. Then you're going to bring in some key players or authors that you'll be using. This is where you get to use some of the authors that I've provided you or ones that you found on your own research, whether it's an organization, a center for immigration policy, or if it, whatever it might be. Bring them in by name. You can even mention the works that they have written if you're going to be using particular essays or articles, things like that, providing a brief summary. So you got to see at this point, from that overview and the first, discussion of these key players, we're probably 6, 7, 8 sentences into your introduction. This is not 1, 2, and 3. This is 6, 7, or 8. Okay, definitely more rather than fewer. And then we end the intro with your leadoff sentence, either a statement or a question, as discussed in that other PowerPoint video and that other PowerPoint, which are also in this module that you can go check out. Okay. All right. After that, we dig into the body paragraphs. And if you are watching this on your phone, you are bonkers because you can't read this. So please make sure that you are looking at this on a tablet or a laptop or a desktop somewhere on campus or at home. Okay. All right. So we have 5 chunks that make up each body paragraph. 5. All right. The 5th one is optional. So at least the first 4. So each body paragraph, for each body paragraph, you're going to choose one key subpoint, okay, of the overall debate. What does that mean? So you might be choosing employment, whether it's AI or undocumented immigration. A whole paragraph talking about employment and the ramifications of undocumented immigration on employment. Taking jobs we don't want, perhaps taking jobs from Americans that are undereducated, underemployable. And so this is part of the debate. Okay, so that might be one of your paragraphs. You then go to chunk 2, where you're going to be focusing on that subpoint, bringing in evidence of each side's effort to make a convincing argument. So what's the data in support of undocumented immigrants are beneficial to our employment needs, and where are they harmful, right? Bringing in both sources, okay? Multiple sources. It could be 2, could be 3, however many you need, and give us that good overview. Notice that for this first chunk and the second chunk, I'm largely explanatory. I haven't really chosen a side yet. I'm not ready yet to start evaluating or judging. Okay. I shift to that in chunk 3. Notice it says here, you will then start becoming evaluative or judgmental. Which side is more convincing and why? And why? And why? You need to make sure you're doing that. Okay. So you're going to explain why you think that one side is making the more convincing argument. You got to walk me through that. You got to spell it out for me in a few sentences. Okay. Again, on this one point, they may win this quarter, this inning, this round, but they haven't necessarily won the game, the match, or the fight yet. Okay. So keep that in mind. It is possible for you to say, ultimately, undocumented immigration is vital, but yes, it does cause some harm. Okay, so maybe in one of your paragraphs, you're going to say undocumented immigration is not on the winning side of this particular point, but over the course of your entire essay, maybe it is. Or AI does offer something of real value, but overall its risks are too great. So you can say something in one of your body paragraphs. You could determine AI is doing some good stuff, but your other body paragraphs indicate it's causing too much harm. So your essay overall is, nope, more harm than good. Okay. Then you're going to wrap up each paragraph by taking some time to give some sense of judgment on this debate subpoint overall. Okay. Let's say you were talking about the impact on small businesses. You can end your paragraph by saying that some businesses will no doubt be hurt by undocumented immigration, but ultimately it is vital for most small businesses, long-term success. Okay, so those are some of the choices you've got. Okay, optional, chunk number 5. You can spend some time discussing what perhaps the losing side should have done. Okay. Maybe they were not providing enough evidence. Maybe they made too much of an emotional appeal and it got a little bit too hysterical or exaggerated. And if they'd calmed down a little bit, it would have been better. You can do that. You don't have to, but you certainly can. Notice that in order to achieve the first 4 chunks, this is not going to be a small paragraph. These suckers are going to be good sized, half page, 2/3 of a page, which we'll talk about a little bit more. Okay, sequencing your body paragraphs. What order do they go in? I don't really care. There's not a concern for me specifically on this. The actual order is entirely up to you. I don't spell it out for you. You have to decide because you're the one who's choosing your 4 or 5 subpoints under the larger debate umbrella, and you are the one that is making the determination of which ones go where. Okay. However, there are a few things I can offer up. Number 1, start with a pretty solid analytical point. It doesn't have to be your best one, but it should be a really good one. So we get a good first impression of your evaluation, of your analysis. Okay. And then the only other thing is the one you want to end with. So now I'm not telling you what to do for all 4, but the first one, make sure it's a pretty solid one, not too thin, not too, weak or undeveloped, right? Make it a really good one. A weaker one could be the second or third. That's okay. If it's not your best, kind of hide it in the middle. The last one should be strong and it should be ultimately leading towards your judgment. So if you are ultimately in favor of AI, for example, your last paragraph should probably be positive for AI. In fact, it should be one of the stronger points in favor of AI. We're ending with a strong point about AI that will then naturally lead us into the sentence that comes right after that at the beginning of the conclusion, your final judgment saying AI is good for us. Okay. So that last paragraph you don't want it to be where that last paragraph is AI sucks. And then your thesis starts off, your final judgment thesis at the beginning of the conclusion is saying, hey, AI is great. Okay. So be smart about that. All right. The latter paragraphs are typically more in alignment with your overall final judgment. We start to lean more towards one side than the other as we go. So if your thesis is giving a positive overall judgment, your last few body paragraphs are going to lean more positive than negative. Not entirely positive necessarily, but more, okay? If your judgment is largely negative, the latter paragraphs are usually more negative. All right. As mentioned in the other PowerPoint, which you can go look at, and the other PowerPoint video walkthrough, which you can go look at, start with your final judgment thesis. All right. See the other PowerPoints on that. After giving us that, talk about what your readers should take away from your dissection of the debate. Are there social or political changes that your readers should consider? Maybe we need to reevaluate our attitude towards AI or towards undocumented immigration or towards U.S. immigration policy or whatever it might be. And then lessons are learned through failures and successes. So there's value in understanding the debate either way. Okay. Final word about paragraph length. Intro and conclusion paragraph should be about a half page long, 12 lines or more for those of you who like to sort of count number of lines on the page. And the body paragraphs are typically bigger than that, around 2/3 of a page, 15 to 18 lines or so. Will I be counting? No. Should you be counting them? Yeah. But also keep in mind that you don't want any paragraphs that are stretching to a full page. This essay does not warrant that amount of length. So you need to be mindful. Do not go that far. All right. That's it for this lovely little PowerPoint walkthrough. I'm hoping it was helpful. But again, as always, we have class time, we have office hours, we have email, we have opportunities to talk this over individually or in groups or as a class as a whole if we need to make sure you guys understand what it is you're trying to achieve. Okay, that's it for today. Hopefully this was helpful to you. If not, I tried.